Yay!
Finally live.
Right, I would just like to say good evening, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us. We have the amazing Heather Robertson here, who has over 30 years experience with bridal hair, prom hair, red carpet hair, you name it. She has her own business, her own wedding business that she does, and her own little salon that she has in the house. The same as what I have, which is, it's lovely, or she can go out on location. She's working with Wella Pro, Pivot Point, Ergo, the Ergo Styling Tool Brushes UK, and the Ambition Centre in Scotland. So we're going to hear all about that tonight, but I've got quite a few questions here for Heather. But if you want to ask any questions, you can type it into the question box and we can speak to Heather later about it. But we're just going to have a quick chat, aren't we, Heather? Will you put some hair up for us and let us see what's what?
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice to get a gaff.
Yes. And if us two Scottish people like maybe run away with yourselves, just put your hands up and let us know and we'll slow it back down again.
Yeah, we're fully aware that we might start talking too Scottish and too quickly, so we'll keep it nice and polite.
Okay, over to you, Heather. I'll leave it with you.
Great, so thanks for having me on. I have, as always, got a great hair up for you all. I am a big advocate for hair up and for styling, which is probably one of the reasons that I'm working so well with Ergo UK and for Pivot Point as well. I truly believe that everyone should be able to put hair up and put styling, do styling effortlessly. And my kind of mission in life is to make it easier for everyone. So that's all about me. I have prepped it all. I've left a little bit on the top here just so we can see how we're going to prep. And what I thought I'd do for you is one of the most popular styles that's rising through the ranks right now, which I never thought would come out my mouth, but it's the return of the French roll, believe it or not. I never thought a French roll would come back, but
oh my God,
by force.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not the French roll that you remember. It's not the French roll that you struggled with when you're a little kind of baby hairdresser and you had to pass that assessment. We're not putting 40 million grips in it. It's the easy, more effortless, more kind of like undone version of it that we're going to look at tonight. And I'll show you kind of two different ways to go about it, depending on what type of hair that you're working on as well.
Perfect. So when you talk about prep and stuff, what is the importance in prep? What, like, beforehand, I would maybe just have put a mousse through it or something like that. But then when I did things for other companies, the importance of prep and the products that you use, I didn't realise how important it was until I started doing it. So what advice would you give somebody for prepping the hair?
So it really is the foundation of your style. So if the prep isn't done correctly, then you're going to end up with something that's maybe not going to last as long. It's certainly not going to be as easy to work with. And I think it's maybe where a lot of people go wrong, because they see a hair up in their column or they get a client in for a hair up and they go straight in with trying to put the hair up. Whereas if you're putting your products into your hair, certainly I advise to even give it like a blow dry over the top of it as well. So not a full blow dry, but if we get time, I've got another dolly at the side here. I'm just going to show you a little bit of prep drying on the top once we've done this. But really what it's going to do is help you smooth out all the hair. It's going to help, because again, I keep thinking about this today. People are looking at like tiny edited videos and pictures on Instagram just now and thinking their hair is going to look like that. But what we see with our hairdressing eyes is the fact that it's fibres of hair we're working with. So when you see it on that size and it's got a filter, it just looks like Lego head, doesn't it? It's like there's not a hair out of place. You couldn't even tell it was hair. It's just something on top of the head. But by prepping, you're going to get as close to that as physically possible. You know yourself, throughout your whole head, you get hair of different lengths, so it's going to help smooth it all in the same direction. It's going to make it a lot more controllable as well. So I have prep blow dried my dolly, or my mannequin, I should say. This is Louise from Pivot Point that I mostly work with. And also I worked with the soft curl toms from GHD. So to prep blow dry it, I use some extra volume mousse. So again, just putting a little bit more tackiness into the hair there, because generally the nicer and softer the hair is, the more difficult it is to get it to do something. So just working some volume mousse in there, working with my, I've tripped myself up already. The joys of having everything black with a black brush. So I've used like a large, there go ERG 65, had to think what number that was there. Use a large ceramic brush just to prep it and help smooth it all. Also to help encourage a little bit of volume into the roots. Then when that's all done, my kind of go-to product for prepping is the Curly Ever After from GHD. So just working with, I'll show you, that's what I'm here to do. Just working with each section and actually spraying each section as I'm working on it. Whereas what you see a lot of clients doing, and dare say some hairdressers, is just picking up all the hair and just spraying all over it. So you'll get what you want out of the hair depending on what you put into the hair. So if I'm prepping section by section, not to make it wet, but to ensure that every single strand of hair has products on it, then I'm naturally going to get a better result than what I am if I've got 5% of the hair with product and 95% of the hair without product. And then when I've been prepping, I've just started in front of the head and working my way back off the face on both sides. And all I'm doing is twist wrapping the hair. So I'm just putting the tong in and just naturally letting it twist as I wrap it around. And then that little tail at the end, just putting over the thickest part of the hair and just letting the heat get through it. So it's been relatively quick to do. I could have done this while we were chatting in the back room. It took about 10-15 minutes, really. Wasn't too long.
Yeah, definitely. So what's the importance of finishing now? Beforehand, it used to be that we would have our irons and we would just like whack our irons in to get curls and stuff like that. Yeah. What would you say the difference between properly preparing and just banging those irons in?
It depends what you want to get out of the hair. So I've just acquired the new GHDs. I'm not obviously not selling them in any way. I don't work for GHD anymore, but I've just got the new GHD stylers and I absolutely love them. And I've styled my hair with them. And the benefits of having straighteners is it's going to help smooth down the hair. And I'm like obviously desperately growing my hair and doing anything I can to kind of trick people into thinking it's longer than what it is. So if I style my straighteners, I'm helping to smooth down the style, albeit I can put volume in it if I really want to. But when you style straighteners, you flatten the hair. So you think if you iron, not that I ever iron much to be honest, apart from the hair. If you iron like your bed sheets, you iron your clothes, you flatten down that t-shirt or that pillow, whatever you're doing. That's what straightening your hair does, or curling with straightening irons. So if you've got thick hair that you want to condense the volume of, the quantity of, then yeah, by all means style your straighteners. I mostly style with, or prep, I should say, with my tongs or my wand, because then I'm keeping the kind of thickness of the hair, keeping the puffiness of the hair, and I also can wind it a lot tighter than what I can achieve with my straighteners as well. Also with the dollies, when they've got a bit of prods in and been used once or twice, you know, it's like to try and like curl with straighteners. If you get too much, you've got a hairspray in your hair, it just ends up a bit flat and sticky looking. So that's how I tend to go with the tongs on the training heads as well. But generally, if I prep with tongs, I'm going to do most volume, and a lot of the things that people are looking at just now tend to be showing on models with tons of hair. And what I'm facing more and more is obviously the clients that are coming in don't have as much hair as what the models do in the pictures. So it's trying to kind of manage and marry the expectations, which can be challenging sometimes. It's as challenging as a black box that I want to go platinum blonde.
Yeah. So your irons fit in depending on what it is you want to achieve from it. You need to assess it. So that's where having the tools is really important as well. Because I know when you're cutting hair, like you can spend in upwards. I think my last pair of scissors was about 350 quid or something like that. And it's important to have the correct tools to help you aid in getting the best results.
Absolutely. I'm a bit of a kind of hair product snob, junkie, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
that I like to have everything, and I like to try and have like the latest thing that's out there, and have like the best that I can for my clients as well. Because although there's that old saying that a bad workman blames his tools, if you've not got good tools, then it's really, really hard to be a good workman. I mean, you're going to work much harder yourself trying to achieve the same result than what you are with maybe like the right brush or the right stylers or the right products by your side. It's definitely going to make your life a lot easier. And being like obviously a wedding stylist as well, at 6 o'clock in the morning, you just want things that are going to work for you when you're on a time scale. And you need to know that the things that you're working for or working with are reliable as well.
Yeah. I was that hairdresser. We were talking about this backstage, Heather, where it was like one brush fitted all at one point.
Yes.
You know, and you had your favourite brush and you would take it out and you'd have to clean it every single time because it was bogging, you know what I mean? And you used it for absolutely everything. But I think it
as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and having the selection of brushes and the right brushes is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've just started dressing my training heads out. I've just worked a little bit of oil into my hands. So all I'm doing is putting like almost like a kind of large teardrop amount in. And then just getting it all in between my fingers and just kind of moving it about. And especially if you want something that looks quite soft and effortless, one of the best things you can do is just push the hair in the opposite direction, and then you're starting to tear the hair out. And it just helps create even more texture in the hair as well. You can, if you want to, if you're frightened or don't feel as confident brushing it through, either you don't feel good for your fingers, either using like an anti-static comb, or you can just get this nice new paddle brush. You can just get a paddle brush and just brush it up the opposite way. And then that's just going to take any kind of like stiffness from the products that you've checked with out the hair. And then you can start like defining it with your fingers again. It just makes life a heck of a lot easier.
It's having the confidence to do that though, isn't it? Because beforehand you would just spray it with hairspray and it would be like, don't move, and hope that it stayed there. But dressing it out and having the confidence to get right in there and do it.
Yeah, and it's generally the more you touch it, like the more you kind of get in there with your hands and just like, I know it's a dolly, but if your client had like the heat of her head and the heat of your hands, what you're doing there again, you think of like your own hair, you've got different lengths of hair. So you get like shorter hairs and longer hairs in there. So if I go in there, I'm helping kind of create some volume, and you can see the kind of area that's starting to happen in the hair. But also what I'm doing is I'm kind of like moving those little short hairs about to help create even more volume. And it depends what you're looking for. Like if it's time, I might do a little slicker one afterwards. We'll see how we get on. If not, I'll do it and put it up on my Instagram as well. But a lot of the styles that a lot of people are going for just now are a lot more undone and effortless. And it's kind of retraining your eye to be able to work with that as well. Because now obviously like it's a little bit fluffy. That's fine. We can take some oil and just like redefine those pieces. But not everything has to look like that Lego head of like everything solidified. So I'm going to just move Logan because he's tapping the back door. Come on, you.
Oh, let us see Logan, Heather.
There he's there.
Oh,
Logan. Just shove him in the couch over here. So yeah, so it's retraining your eye. And give me a second, sorry guys. Just to fix this situation and then so yeah, even what I've already done there, this doesn't even have to be for a hair up. This could just be like a really beautiful finish for your client. I'm kind of like, I don't know about yourself, but I'm kind of over the balayage finish. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, it's beautiful, but I'm just sick to death of actually seeing it. Where every single client, albeit has a gorgeous colour, but they've got no individuality about their style at all. And again, it's easier to photograph, but so not everyone, like, I want to walk out like this. I don't want to walk out with that kind of beautiful photographic finish on it. I want to walk out like me. So a lot of clients are the same as well.
Well, I've got a couple of questions there, Heather, about the products that you were using. Could you go back over them again? And the brushes that you were using as well?
So, and this is all, I've actually done it's on my membership. I actually done a film last week of like everything I use. I'm going to start kind of drip feeding it on Instagram. But I've got, see how much I love this, can't you? It's at the front of it. So this is a Sebastian Dark Oil. So it's well as Sebastian. It's one of their premium brands, and I literally live on this. A couple of bottles of that with me at any time. So that's what I use for my oil. For curling, I use GHD's Curly Ever After. So it's I use it for blow drying as well. So it's quite nice to blow dry. You don't really feel it in your hair, but I use it for curling because it's got like a heat memory in it, so heat protection but heat memory, and it's honestly the best thing I've found. I have tried other things to help retain the curl in the client's hair, and also that's what I really need on a red morning as well, or retain it as long as it possibly can be. I don't have the mousse to hand, but it's the Wella Amy Extra Volume Mousse, and then of course the dressing out brush. It's just it was clean when I started, it's just because it's Dolly here. It's the GHD dressing out brush. And then, of course, I've got my Ergo brushes because I'm very proudly the artistic team director for Ergo. Yeah, it was clean before I started brushing my Dolly with it. But I use the Ergo brushes for prep and for styling and for dressing out. And that was clean too, by the way. So it's the ER65 for blow drying, and this is the ER1000 for brushing out, which is a really nice paddle brush as well.
Jenny's asking if you've tried the Wow products.
I have. I dabble, and I have got the Dream Coat. I'm still in two minds, if I'm really being honest. Like, it's a beautiful product. I'm interested in trying some of their volume products as well. But I do use the Dream Coat for blow drying for if it's like more coastal weddings, or like the gorgeous Scottish weather where it's sunny at 1:30 and helping it down at 1:45, and then sunny at like 2:30 again. So there's lots of moisture in there, so I do use that. But I also use the Sebastian Reshaper hairspray, and it's an anti-humidity hairspray as well. So in those cases I do that, but most times I do work with the GHD Perfect Setting. So my kind of like the ones I've got on the side are the Sebastian Zero Gravity for just like a really light airy hold, and then the Reshaper, which is more of a kind of, it's not a wet hairspray, but it's not as kind of fine as the Zero Gravity or the GHD one. But I've mostly used the GHD for kind of like good old rounds, doing whatever I want it to do, because you can build the strength of that up as well. So they're my kind of go-tos, and I've got my favourite one in the world is my dry me, which I was getting concerned about because I went through my bag and this was like the only quart can I could find because my order's coming tomorrow. So I use a lot of dry me, which is well as dry shampoo. It's kind of my kind of favourite one for like not being very visible on the hair, so obviously it's impossible to get a clear dry shampoo. But this is about as close as we could possibly get to it, and it smells quite nice as well, which I always comment on too. But I tend to use like more products in the hair as I prep, and very, very little hairspray. So hairspray in place, and I like hair too.
So just to get that backbone for you to work and build on.
Yeah, because it's so much easier. Move this back so you can see it. But it's so much easier to put this up now, where it's got texture and it will just literally go wherever I put it. Whereas I've got another trainer head to the side here, who's had like nothing done to her yet, which is just like really beautiful soft silky hair, and I can do something with it. But that hair is just going to resort back to however that was originally dried by the client.
Yeah.
So I want it to be as long lasting as possible.
So you've got an online education program. How do you feel about online training now? Because it was massive and everybody was doing it during lockdown, and it became a thing, and but it's huge now. I know you've got your membership. What is your opinion on online learning?
I personally, I'm not just saying this because I've got one, but I personally think it's a really good thing. I think it's great for training support. So I mean, much in the same way, like if you want to get to the gym, but your lifestyle doesn't allow you to for time and things like that, then you can join like an online gym membership and you can still keep fit or do yoga or meditate in your house. But you're naturally going to get the best from it when you've either taken a class or you've worked like one-to-one with a personal trainer, and then you know how to do it properly along with the online stuff. And I believe it's the exact same for what we're doing. Like there's loads of things, like I like going everything. Like I if money wasn't an issue, God, the amount of things I would go on this year for like other stylists that I highly admire and wig making courses, and I'm like really at the start of my afro and curly hair journey as well. Like I literally just like work for half the year to go on courses for half the year, but it's you can't. You know, it's like unfortunately we need to work the majority of our life. So I think it's great for things like that. It's also great to get a taster of someone as well. So I mean, so if you get someone, you know, it's like courses aren't cheap, and understandably and quite rightly so. I'll put this up in a minute. I'll get to you first. But it's really good, like if you're really getting into something, whether it's like a color direction or like a styling thing, and you're really getting into it, and you just want to kind of like test the water to see how you get on. I also try and encourage, although not many people do it, but if someone's coming on my hair up course and they're going to do a one-to-one with me, I really encourage them to go on my online platform because it's got a 7-day free membership, so you don't even need to pay for it. But to go on it for the week in the run up to the training so they can try out some of the things, so they've got more questions when they then come on the training, rather than coming on the training and the first time they try something or the first time they see something is that tiny little window of like 6.5 hours that I've got with them. So it means if at least if they've tried it once or twice and I'm like, oh, I've tried it, but I can't get the bit in the tom to stay in, or I've tried it and I can't get the script to stay in, then you learn more from that because you're already starting building the neurons in your brain, and it means more to you. Otherwise, it's like someone giving you directions to a place you've never been before. You'll kind of get there, but you can't really remember how you got there.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, Heather. I've never seen that before. The fact that you've got the 7-day free trial, which means that you can go in, practice some of the stuff, and then come to you and say, right, I'm struggling with that. Can you help? Rather than doing it with you, struggling a wee bit, going back and like just going, oh, so that I'm not doing that anymore because I can't.
And it works on the other side as well. So once they've been in a training day, they can do it the other way. They can then go and follow up. But it makes more sense to me to follow things up when I'm with you than follow things up while you're in the house on a laptop. But like, the things that they've learned, they can then go and practice with the same obviously methods that I've just taught them. So it means it cements it more in their brain because it's becoming something of importance to them, so they remember it better as well. So yeah, I'm all for online training, but perhaps because there's these I'm sure you have seen them as well. There's these platforms just now, and it's like 20 quid and you can learn how to become a hairdresser and a makeup artist.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, so, I mean, I have been nosy to see what they were. And I'm not saying they're not good by any means, but I'm like, really? I think you can learn online, but I do think you need to take it for what it is. It's a limited resource, unless you maybe even follow up with like a one-to-one online as well, and that actually has someone to bounce off of.
Yeah, and I think when you're doing it face-to-face like that, or like in a one-to-one, it's about positioning yourself, and if you go in this different angle, it's going to go up better, you know, rather than trying to work it out on your own.
Well, I find it's happening with the subject now. I find it's half the time when I'm training people, it's more I don't mean pointing out things they're doing wrong, but pointing out where they're going wrong. And sometimes it's just like you said, a little kind of niche of if you just moved your arm up a bit, you'd be able to hold that a lot better. So, I mean, but you can't see that when you're just by yourself.
That's it.
So I'm going to put this up the quick way, first of all, to show you how easy it can be, and I'm going to give you the alternative to it, which is still really, really easy, but it's just to give you two versions of it. So I mean, to be fair, one of the quickest ways would be to take it all back, but it's much nicer doing this way. So I'll turn around and now. Make sure I've got some grips to hand.
See, well, we're popping that up, Heather. You want to chat about pivot point and the dummy head that you're working on?
Yeah. So we're having a bit of this conversation backstage as well. Just put a little bit of oil. This is the spray version of the dark oil. So yeah, so I started, it was because of Dawn actually, I started using pivot point training heads, which I absolutely love, and it's only the pivot point training heads that I'll use now for my training and obviously things I do online as well. And then just over the years, the lovely Janet and I have got to know each other more and more, and I was very lucky to be invited to do some filming for their UK content for their online education platform, which is Lab. So I went somewhere in Amsterdam, I don't know where it was, if Janet's on, I'm sure she'll say. I was somewhere in Amsterdam, I get picked up at the airport by a lovely Jan and driven to film the content with the lovely Yoli, who's phenomenal. And I done 3 days of filming with Yoli, and I was reborn as a hair cutter. Although I didn't go there for training, just like, again, someone just like watching you through a camera, because she was there, but she was watching it on screen, and just pointing out all the different things that, like, no, you're moving this way, moving that way. And I thought I was pretty damn good at cutting, to be honest. And obviously I was, like, I get flown over Amsterdam to film cutting, but it was just amazing. And I worked with, I just worked with phenomenal people. And then I got to go on Train the Trainer last year. That was in Amsterdam in the centre. And there was, I think it's 53 educators from 35 different countries that were there. And it just totally blew my mind, because I had, maybe until the start of last year, had no idea how massive Pivot Point was worldwide. It's like, I knew they had Pivot Point International because I tagged them every time I post, but I didn't realise the extent of how big it was. Amazing.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. And the heads are so much better now than what they were like 30 years ago, aren't they? I can remember getting sequins coming through my hair sometimes.
Well, what I love about it as well is that if you go on the Pivot Point's website, you can watch one of the videos and it'll show you how the hair's sourced. So naturally, like, all the hair's ethically sourced, which is so important, just like in this day and age, because a lot of hair isn't ethically sourced and it comes from a lot of not very nice methods. So that's really important to me, especially because it's majoritively, not I don't care about men, but naturally it's majoritively women's heads this is coming from. So I'm quite happy to know that this has not been, I'm trying to think the right words have been wrong, but this came from an ethical source, the nicest way to put it. And also the quality of the hair as well. But while I'm gabbing, so we're kind of coming on every time we talk, we just show you the kind of quickest way to get this really gorgeous, effortless spring show. And the easiest way to do it is, once you've done your prep, is just to work the hair kind of the most flattering place naturally can line the jaw. So just if you were going to put a ponytail in, where you put a ponytail in, work your hair up to there. You can keep that texture if you want. And the trick is, you need to kind of come back round the opposite way and put your thumb in. Now you can either flip this hair up, or what's really on trend just now is to have this bit underneath. So I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to put, instead of your hand going this way, you're going to turn your hand round the wrong way. It'll feel weird. And then you're going to twist this hair and lift it at the same time. So you get this idea going on. And then the only annoying thing is when you bring your trolley on, because you forgot to move it. And then what you want to do is just get a grip in place just now. And I'm really liking that, just kicking down the bottom. Get a grip in place. And you just want to slide that up to help secure it in place and free your hand. And if you need to, you can move so all the pins I use and all the grips are all Nishida grips. So I'm just going to grab a bit of hair and push that grip forward and then double it back on itself. And I'll just lock that in place. And we can a little bit harder here. But a little bit easier than what you remember doing your training, Samantha.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I can remember you had about 40 million Kirby's right up, like slightly off There are a couple
It just
coming
look
up.
like little beetles climbing up the side of the heads, isn't it?
Yeah, and then that's when you used half a can of hairspray as well.
So this is basically what we've got just now. And then what we'll do is just start moving and shaking that. Get some large pins just now, so we're going to put that in. So I'm going to put one up here, try and get me out of the way so you can see it. And don't worry about what you've got going on here now, so we're going to move that. And I think that's half the battle with doing long hairdressing, is having the guts and the courage to touch the hair. And you're like, well, what happens if it falls down? Like, well, it took like, God, about 10 seconds to actually put that up. So if it falls down, it's not really the worst thing that ever happens in your life, is it?
No.
So you can just like, tease this out a little bit. And just like the minute you start touching that, it comes alive and becomes like even more beautiful than what it was a second ago. So easy. We're just going to push this little pin in. Now that we've moved it a little bit, so there, you just double them back on themselves. And if you want, you can even get the large pins to help define what you're doing. I love how you do it. So I have this theory about hair up. And I have the theory of, do you remember learning to cut for the first time? Because most people remember learning how to cut, they don't, or they remember trying to put a foil in for the first time. And how nerve-wracking it was. And just like, how you were just, I mean, let's face it, probably 16 at the time after that age. How nerve-wracking it was, and how you just wanted your mammy, and you just wanted to go home, and you just wish you could stay at school. Right.
And that's when you go, I don't want to be a hairdresser anymore. Why am I doing
it? Too hard. It's like 2.5 hours later after cutting a one length head of hair. Because I can remember taking 2.5 hours from my mum's my best friend's mum. Right. Imagine at that point, someone said to you, it's okay, you don't need to do this if you want to be a hairdresser. Would you do it again? Say that again? So that moment when you're doing your first haircut and it's like 2 hours in and you're hating it and you want your mum and you want to go home, it's so hard, and cut yourself probably as well, and you're hating every moment, and the stylist that's working with you says, it's okay, because if you want to be a hairdresser, you don't really need to do this.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
No.
You wouldn't do it, would you? But, or like, if you remember learning how to drive, like I hated learning how to drive. Really, really hated it. Like I used to tell my driving instructor I'd pay her the full price if she just drove for half an hour and then let me drive the other half hour. So because it's so frustrating learning something. So at the moment when people are learning hair up and they're learning styling, although they have to maybe like pass up like your regular kind of old-fashioned French roll, or we need to pass that for assessment. A lot of people say, oh, that's the only time I've ever done hair up. Because at some point, someone said to them, but it's okay, but you don't need to have to do hair up if you want to be a hairdresser. So they never do it again. And the only memory they've got of it is being petrified of it and not being able to do it. Why would you risk feeling like that in front of the client who gives you hundreds, if not thousands of pounds a year in cuts and colour?
Yeah. It's a total point there, and that looks stunning for the back already before even putting the sides in, Heather.
Look, you just pick this up, and wherever your hand is, you just help put the trolley in right now. And wherever your hand is, that's where you just pin the hair in.
Yeah.
So put this here, right there. That's where it was. So that's my theory on why a lot of people don't do hair up. Because they quite simply don't have to, and it is so easy, and it kind of cracks me up a little bit that people will put chemicals in their clients' hair, and they'll chop inches, if not feet, off their clients' hair. But when it comes to putting a curdy in or a grip in, they won't do it because they're petrified.
I've never thought about it that way, but you're totally right. We're putting chemicals on the hair. But totally, if you want for a better word, shit yourself when it comes to long hair.
So if my client said to me, oh, I don't like this, like, because that's another question I always get asked, what do you say if your client doesn't like it? Well, I just say that's okay, I take it down and I do it differently, which is absolutely fine. So look,
what advice would you, oh, that's stunning. What advice would you give to somebody that wanted to educate like you do in long hair?
Learn long hairdressing. There's a lot of people that are really good at long hair. I would say the easiest way to go about it is to start putting yourself out there. If you start putting your education online, if you start to be seen and known as someone that someone else can trust to go to learn from, also as well, like, invest in education. Education. So, it's like so many people are absolutely amazing at what they do, and they're great at telling people what they do, but they've not maybe explored how to educate other people and to coach people in how they do it, if that makes sense. I'm not knocking anyone, but it's like, if you want to be an amazing hair cutter, then you need to invest in your cutting education. You want to be amazing at hair up, you need to invest in your hair up education. You want to invest, we're talking about colour worlds. If you want to be phenomenal at colour, then you need to focus on investing in your colour education. If you want to be an amazing educator, then why are you not investing in your education? Because there's so much more to it than just saying this is what I've done and letting someone copy you.
Makes sense.
So here's Dolly. It's just really, really simplistic and easy. You can make that as full as you want to. You can make it as messy as you want to. But it's just this really gorgeous, sexy, somewhere between like Pamela Anderson and kind of like Vogue model. And if you want it a little bit neater, you can pin that up a little bit more. So if you want, we can take this up, just pin that in. You make it work for you. But it's so simplistic, but so beautiful. And it's already starting to filter through. I thought it was only going to be hit the salons this summer, but clients are starting to ask for it just now as well. I'm laughing because it takes minutes to do.
Absolutely stunning. And I would have said, looking at that, you've spent an hour and a half on that. That's what I'd have said anyway, but it's so simple.
Give it a shiggle and whatever bit's moved. To be honest, not a lot is moving. I've maybe just put another pin in here. I can see this moving. If you shiggle that, see what moves, and there's this bit here. So all you do is just take a grip and you pin in that bit there, and it's as simple as that. If I wanted to see it, and it's probably going to come out in a minute, so we do something different. And the tip for putting the grips in is put your grips in where your finger is, and always put your grips into the style that you're working on. Whereas what I see a lot of is people like hold a bit here and then like kind of machine gun grips all the way around the bit they're not holding on to, and then wonder why it doesn't hold for them as well. And then it's like I'll just have like a little kind of box of accessories, but these are like, I think it's like £6 off at Amazon. I'm pretty sure you get much more expensive ones, but everyone's going daft for like pearls just now. So you can just like, if you are putting accessories in and you have got pins, remember you can make them work for you as well, so they can help hold the hair for you.
What about dealing with bridezillas, Heather?
Yeah.
What advice have you got?
I've had a fortnight of hell, to be honest, and I was speaking to, I do one-to-ones with a lovely Ben Lifton, and I was speaking to him today, and I was like, you know what, I have learned so much in this past fortnight, because I've just pushed myself too much and hit the wall and dealt with the consequences. And without going into it, I was hand on heart saying it. Not that I don't think I was on my backside, but it's definitely humbled me a hell of a lot. And as a small situation with someone not liking their hair, and by God, it knocked me to the curb. And I was speaking today, and I was saying, I know logically and by proof that I'm good at this. Like, I know my heart's the hearts, that people pay me to train them in this, so I know that I'm good because people pay me to do it. And I had like a day of just been like, I don't want to do hairdressing anymore. I really don't. I was like, I don't know what I want to do in my life, but I'm out. Because I was just so unwell and just and just got like a bad day, to be honest. So I can totally understand it, and I don't. There's a hairdresser in the land that hasn't had a client say, "No, I'm not happy. What are you going to do about it?" And you just feel like nothing because of it. And I think what I had to do myself is just really have like a good talk to myself, and obviously it helps to have good backup around you to just kind of like reassure you that what you're thinking in your head right now isn't true. But that aside, I think like anything, it's dealing with it professionally and trying to keep the emotion out of it. Obviously, I'm telling you behind the scenes of how I was feeling, but as far as the client was concerned, I was like, right, no problem. How would you like to rectify this situation? And it was just a simple case of I tried to manage her expectations, and she was just too excited about her wedding to be managed. She didn't want to hear that what she had and what she wanted were very far beyond each other. So I think it's just a case of saying, well, look, here's your options, which is what I've done. Here's your options, and just let me know what you prefer to do. And what I learned most this week is like, oh, who's it's got that saying? Is it Dita Bon Tees? You could be the ripest cherry in the bunch, but there's always somebody that doesn't like cherries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just all it is. I mean, it's like I've been hailing back myself this week. I'm like, and I'm sure you've all done it yourselves one day, like someday. Now, if you haven't, I hope you never have to. Where you just sit and tell yourself how crap you are. You look for all the times in your life where someone's came close to telling that as well. You're like, yeah, I remember that person told me they were right. So I think sometimes it's just a case of just like trying to put the emotion aside, being that professional hairdresser and saying, I can understand that you're not happy. How would you best like to rectify this situation? Rather than you trying to like appease the person by going, what about this and what about that and what about this and what about that? Because you can be throwing everything at them and they could take it all if they wanted to. If you're just putting yourself out in a plate for offer. So yeah, long story for just saying, yeah, believe in yourself, really, isn't it?
No, that's it. Well, we've got things here. I think Dom said and Janie said about you getting your own products.
Yeah, it's a thought. It's not anything I've spoke to anyone about. Like, but yeah, it would be nice. And it's
Janie says a pin box. Like your Kirby's and your pins and calling it HRH.
I'll no lie and say I haven't looked in Alibaba every now and again. And I'm like, oh, I could get that. Oh, good, right. Oh, I only need 3,000 if I want them, and I only need 10,000 if I want HRH on them. And then someone said to me the other week there, that's one of the girls in my course, she says, you just buy one of those, like, I don't know what it's called, other people know, but basically you can emboss your own logo onto things, and the machine's only a couple of £100 anyway. So, yeah, it's a thought. It's a good thought. Right, let's do the other version of this, or do you want to see a different hair up altogether? What's the vote? Is there a vote?
What's the vote, guys? Do you want to see another version, or do you want to see?
You know, as I've done this and I've done the quick version, like I'm really liking this, so I want to get a picture.
Right, so we've made the decision then. We're going to see something else rather than that then.
Yeah, okay, and it'll give me a chance to show you how to. We've been talking for nearly an hour already. Can you believe that?
I know.
I can talk to you all day, Samantha, honestly. Right, so this is the lovely Natalia from Pivot Point, who I absolutely love because she's like a mermaid with hair. And again, this could be really, really daunting for someone. Someone comes in and I've got all this here, but to me, this is like Christmas morning. I'm like, oh, I've got all this beauty flavor. So I always get clients that like apologise for having so much hair, and I'm like, don't apologise. I'm like, you're like a Christmas present all wrapped up in once. Is when you get someone that's got like hair finer than mine, that's kind of what the situation was last week, that wants something that's really, really full, then it's so much harder to accomplish for someone. So we do this really beautiful sleek hair up. So it's quite nice to have the contrast between the really gorgeous and effortless undone. I'm just going to do a tiny bit of prep on the top here, but more so because I want to show you, one, how to smooth out the hair, and two, how I would go about the prep. So I'm not going to do like a blow dry then, but we'll do a prep blow dry. So basically, like if I was someone in for a hair up, I do ask them to come with clean blow dried hair. not to have it straightened by any means, but to have it blow dry, perhaps if they were like going to work that morning. Because what I discovered is when you just say to someone have clean, dried hair, they tend to just shampoo it and leave it, or shampoo it and blast it upside down, and the hair's everywhere, and the fibres of the hair are all over the place. So let's say they have, and it's maybe like not as smooth as what you need it to be, or let's say they've just blatantly ignored you and no bothered. So what I tend to do is just pre-dampen it down just with that curly ever after again. And then I'm just going to help smooth the front area over, because so many people are also wanting a bit more volume at the front just now. So what I'm going to do is get my brush in and just lock that in place. So I'll just put the dryer on for a couple of seconds. Good tip, when you're going to put a dryer on, make sure it's plugged into the plug, because it will really help with your circulation. The hair dryer, it's just down here. It's exciting, doesn't it? I can always remember one of my first training sessions I'd done for Wella, and it was in Edinburgh, and I was doing my presentation. I hadn't learned it off by heart, and halfway through the presentation my laptop died, and I was like, oh my god, my laptop's died, and the fear of God goes through you. And after fumbling about for 5 minutes, one of the students said, would it not just help if you plugged it in?
No, oh no, I find
so panicked.
I get to that age now and you're just like, oh my god, I should have plugged that in or switched it on or whatever. Yeah, I know.
I'll charge everything up now. So, squeeze my hair dryer for 2 minutes and just keep the hair up because we're all no heat. Then hair cold air affects it, so just make sure it's volume in the root. And then just making sure that every fibre of hair is flat as it up. And then through the nozzle of your hair dryer to help smooth that down. On to cold. And as we pin that in place, I'm only going to do this twice over the top, just got a really smooth, kind of sleek look going around the front. And then if you want to set that in place, someone kind of struggles with pinning it, you can use Velcros or just open your fingers, she says. Open your fingers, wrap it around your open fingers, hold up your thumb, roll it down, and then you can close your fingers and slide them out. Whereas what a lot of people do is they wrap it around their closed fingers and then can't get a finger back out the head again. So we'll just do that again for the ones in the back, really for this bit in the top. If you just put your pin in behind where you're working, it means it's just there for when you are moving it back again. So just same bit. Might do 3, sorry. Look, it's just like, can you hear me when I'm talking over the hairdryer?
Yeah, you can.
I wasn't sure, so that's fine. I can talk again then. So again, I'm really just dampening down the hair. And then just wrapping it around to lock it in place. So again, naturally, again, not more or less at all. But then it starts in person as terrible. It becomes so obsessed over how we go by here. So the fabulous training hour with the artistic director Alan Papaleo, which is lovely. And we're going through, like, obviously you've done the training as well, Samantha, but we're just going through like all the aspects that we don't normally think about when we're blow drying hair. So like I'm so aware of like how close my hair dryer is to the hair these days, and like how maybe previously I would just like hold my hair dryer like right in because I felt like it was going to dry it quicker. And actually, when you think about it logically, if you move your hair dryer out to there and you look at your nozzle will then direct the hair all the way to the edges here. Whereas if it's in here, it can only blow dry that tiny bit that you're doing, plus you're burning your brush and burning your hair.
Heather, Jenny's asking if you could put that last one in a little bit slower so that you can see it.
Of course. So Because this is the way I kind of like blow dry the most. It tends to be like how I do it the quickest. Sorry, so I'll do it a little bit slower. I'll turn her on the side a little bit so you can see it as well. Because this section here is going to be the one that's going to sit over the back. So naturally, I want to ensure this is like glass. So again, just dampen it down. And naturally, the other thing I became so aware of is how to stand in and like how I'm working when I'm blow drying. So it's more about ensuring that, especially I'm becoming more vintage, that I'm going to last as long as I can. So I used to blow dry that years ago, the big Glasgow blow dry. And now it's like also the way I'm blow drying, it's like we're not dragging the brush through the hair, so we're not causing, like, you can see just the mess I'm making there, like the unnecessary stress and static in the hair, and also the unnecessary like movement of my arms and the jerking. So I blow dry on my clients like that, and especially the ones that I've got like sticking up with more textures there and having to like move. I really love it. I could, they're so used to the getting blow dried and straining the muscles in their neck because they're blow dried like that all the time. You find it so much more relaxed and put the kind up in there. And actually get smoother as well. It's more stretching here so much for the back. So this all sitting dry away from the hair that will soak down, and then that way it's short through the units. Right, I'll do it slowly. Actually, make sure I've got it. Move it in. Right, so take it up, keep it lifted with the ball you were putting in. 2 fingers open. Wrap it around. Yeah. And then the tail, I just use my thumb to hold the tail and then tuck the tail right under. And then I can roll my hand down and my 2 fingers are now sitting on the base of where the blow drying section was. And then take my pin and just kind of slide that between my 2 fingers, close my fingers and take them back out again. And it just gives you a really nice working base. And all I'm going to do with the rest of it is just very quickly take the stylers over it just to help smooth down the ends. A lot of this is going to be in a ponytail, so I don't have to stress so much about getting so much texture into it. I'm going to have a really beautiful slick style going on, which again will take about 10-15 minutes max. Yeah, I've never live for ages. I'm totally in a row now, so like you might have your tea or like go to bed or anything. I'll just keep going. It's also so like after like a fortnight of feeling ill, it's just so good to feel good again. So I'm glad we had this live tonight. So all I'm going to do is just help smooth this down and give it a little bit of a curve at the ends. So again, just going in, just taking up my roots. It's going to go back the way, so it makes sense that I just kind of come back the way when I'm working with it, and just giving it a soft wave at the ends. It doesn't take long. I think sometimes why a lot of people kind of skip the prep is because they're so nervous about doing the hair up and they imagine the hair up is going to take forever, which it probably will because you're not prepped it. That they skip the prep so they can get right in and spend more time on the actual hair up. Whereas the Saw's law of it is if you just done the prep, as you've seen there, the hair up will probably take 10 minutes. Because I like the prep, especially if it's like a wedding morning. Because most times, like in a wedding morning, you've only really met the bride. So maybe her mum, maybe like one of her friends if they came with them for the trial. And it just lets me kind of like take a back seat and get a little feel for the room and kind of work out who all the personalities are. It's nice. But yeah, it just pays to have like you were talking about earlier on, just having like everything in your kit just double checked, right down to like, I know it sounds really pedantic, but like even checking that all the nozzles on your products work properly. It's like rather than turning up to a wedding and like discovering that, I don't know, like drying infamously like blocks. So imagine like you get there and your drying doesn't work, depends on my world. Or like checking that one of your favourite tongs or your straighteners don't work or something like that. So just always double check everything, especially if there's like tools and products that you don't use on a day-to-day basis in the salon.
Yeah.
And always make sure that everything's like perfect looking. Like I kind of also pre-clean everything before any client goes near it. I want each of my tools and my products to look like this is the first time they've ever been used. So I mean, because like people are also paying a lot of money for you. Like, I suppose like for day-to-day in the salon. Like just again, I think more so since I was always quite funny about this anyway. I think it's been the old Weller train, like everything's like the car's a mess, the house is a mess, but then my products are absolutely beautiful. It's
Do you know,
one of those ones.
Absolutely, it's like my salon's great and all my colour bar looks amazing, but you come in and my iron's piled high.
Yeah, I think we're creatives. That's what we call us. I think normal people call us messy buggers, but like amongst friends, we're creatives, really. My house is clean because my cleaner's been today.
Oh, that's so neat, one of them.
Yeah, cleaner's the best thing I've ever done. I would rather also spend time on my business. I recommend this to everyone. There's an amazing book called The E-Myth. It's the myth of being an entrepreneur. And one of the things it teaches you in it is how to kind of like manage your kind of time. And basically you work out what you earn per hour or what your rate is per hour. And then you work out all the jobs that you need to do in your life and you work out what ones will cost you less than what you earn per hour for someone else to do, and then you can be more productive in life.
That is such great advice because it is so true. Because you end up doing stuff that like is not worth it, and you should really sit down and work out what's most important.
Like my place is phenomenal, and like 2 hours. This place is like a show house. Whereas it takes me all day, whereas I'm much better working on my business for 2 hours or all day than what I'm doing. That's my excuse. I'm sitting to it, right? But what was I saying? Yeah, just make sure everything's perfect. More like, again, I think more so since like being part of Ergo as well, just been like so acutely aware of what these brushes look like. I mean, it's and I think it's COVID as well. Like, it was 4 years ago, and it's like an old story now. But it's like people are like even more kind of about things. I know I certainly am. It's like I still kind of like if I'm in a shop, go down an escalator and I've got to put my hand on the handrail. I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll just follow what they say first.
Exactly.
But I think it's like I'm now obsessed with going for blow dries in places. Because Janie and I went for a blow dry, and we had a lovely kind of bonding weekend in Edinburgh, which was phenomenal. Which will be even better next year because everyone else is going over there too. And one of our things we done was we went for a blow dry, and I don't know how many different types of DNA I had getting pulled through my hair, but I was cringing. It's like the brush. I can vaguely tell you what colour the brush was, but you struggle to see it under the hair.
It's disgusting. Yeah, that's Cheryl saying that she keeps all her Ergo brushes in their boxes.
Do you? You're good, Cheryl. I'm not that good.
No, I'm not that good neither. No.
Mine are all my bag. I've got a little bag. It's there actually. I honestly think this was just from the wholesalers, and they all fit perfectly. I think it's like Sally's or Capital, and they all fit perfectly in the bag.
You can get the little bags, you can get them from Primark as well, and they're quite good. Yeah. They've got little pockets in the front of them that you can keep some of your clips in that.
That's good. So we're nearly done here. You can see the amount of hair that she's got. It's really not taking that much time to style her. And I thought it quite good for you to see also one done with the tongs and one just done with stylers. And all I'm really doing is just help smooth out the hair and just ensure the ends aren't looking ratty either. Which is nice.
Janie's mentioning the self-healing bristles, Heather. Can you explain that a wee bit more?
I wonder if I've got a squished one in my bag. Hang on. Yes, so one of the things that I absolutely love I was totally blown away by this. Love about the Ergo brushes is they have self-healing bristles. So do you know when like brushes like mine are, like brushes are squished in your kit bag, or like if you go on holiday and your brush gets squished in the bottom, and then your bristles are all sitting the wrong way. So if I just cleaned all mine, put them back in the bag, so I don't have sitting the wrong way. But I deliberately took my brush on holiday. Oh, mine are all looking great, unfortunately. So that's tiny bit at the top here. Yeah, like, so there's brush my dolly earlier. I don't know if you can even see it. There's like a couple going the wrong way, like literally like 5 pointing down the way. So if you take your dryer and put it on hot and just do this. So I was just squish them down so I can show you. It's super hard to see. Like all my bristles are all standing on end now, so the brushes self-heal. So there's a really, I don't know who's on it, I can't remember the guy's name, but there's, if you go onto like Ergo Instagram, it's shared on there. But it puts like elastic bands around all the brush, so they're all kind of like, it looks like it's ready for the bin. And you just put the dryer back over it and the bristles stand back up on end again, which is brilliant. Great. Magic brushes. Right, so just so you can see what, I'm going to turn this around, sorry. I'll better bring it back here so you can actually see it. So when I take this out, I've just got that beautiful shape going on there. You can see that's just from like your blow dry only.
That's where you can see the difference between using your irons and then using your brush to get that, keeping the fatness of the hair. Yeah.
So look at the curl that I've got there, albeit lovely. Then look at what I've got there.
Beautiful.
So I'm still just going to take the irons over because I've got that bit of volume. I'm doing something really sleek, but I still want that natural volume so I can push the hair down against it. And it just makes the hair look like a lot more expensive looking as well. So I just get her in the middle. Give me 2 seconds. We'll be done in 10 minutes. There. Any more questions, Sam?
Just having a wee look there. What was the name of that book again?
It's called The E Myth, so the letter E. It's phenomenal. Like, I encourage everyone to read it. It's all about like, if you're on here and you're self-employed, it'll totally resonate with you. But it's basically like a narrative story of a girl who loved baking cakes and wanted to own a cake shop because she loved baking cakes. Anyone that owns a salon will be laughing right now. So she buys a cake store and then she realizes to run the cake store she has to clean it and she has to buy stock and she has to like employ staff, and basically the last thing on earth that she well gets to do is bake a damn cake. And it's all about going through that, and it's brilliant. But there was a line in it and I always laugh at it, and I kind of worked that way the past month. That's why I probably ended up ill. And it says if you're not working on your business with the ambition or the idea to sell it on in the future, then you don't own a business. You're working for a lunatic, and a lunatic is you. And I was like, oh, that's
good. Oh my God. I totally resonate with that because you can't sell yourself. Well,
no, you can. Times get really hard. You can, Sam. We're still half good. Like we'll get something better. So I realise I'm out of the picture just now. I'm going to just bring this over so I can show you what I'm doing. So what I tend to do, this is just kind of ode to the great Mr. Patrick Cameron, who's obviously one of my major inspirations in life, is instead of using bobbles or elastics, just to make out of hat elastic. So I'm going to basically make this to go in the hair. So what we're going to do is take a loop, tie it in a knot. So you just tie the loop as if you were tying the end of a balloon and create a little knot, and then come down and then tie another one. So not on either side. And then these are great. Like these are just off Amazon. They're little like the mini elastic cutters. So when I've got bridal parties, I just make up a little kind of one of these little kind of sealed mini bags that you get, and I put like some grips, and I put one of these in, and I put some business card in there as well. And it's just like a way of obviously leaving them a little something, because if you leave someone something, it's memorable, and they're probably not going to forget who's done their hair. But it's so warm. It's just got little. If I put it up with little elastics, it's easier for it to get out as well. And it's also a way to leave your business card without just getting left on maybe like a hotel bedside table and it gets thrown out. So let's do that. So we're going to put some 2 little bobbles in. I'm just going to do a soft little bit here to smooth this out a little bit more, and I'm going to tie all this back. So this is just a bit that blow dried. So again, smooth that down as much as possible. Same with the bit at the back especially. So I'm not taking the volume out that I've put in, but I'm just using the stylers, and again I'm not tamping them down. I'm just using them to run down the hair and just get that same bend on the end that I had on the rest of it. And again, this is just a way to style for your clients as well. It's like so many people are like, oh, I was going to hair up. I'm like, well, that's stupid because you've been making lots of money, but like instead you're not. It's so easy.
Sarah has said that she really misses, Sarah Davies says that she really misses working with you, Heather.
Oh, thank you. Miss working with you too. That's really weird because I can't see who's on.
You know,
no, I can't see any questions or who's on, so just in case anyone's saying anything, I'm not responding to it. Like, literally, as much as you're more than enough, Samantha, all I can see is you.
Oh, thanks. It's a good bunch that's on tonight, Heather. They're all interacting and chatting to each other. It's great.
Oh, it'd be really nice to join in. Right, so we've got her all ready. I'm going to leave the front sections out and make it even more sleeker in a minute. So what we're going to do is from the top of the head to the back of the ear, just clip that out of the way. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Top of the head to the back of the ear. It's like once you start doing like hair up and kind of long hairdressing, it's like you realise much like you're cutting and much like you're covering, everything's got like a kind of starting point section. And you've got like your methods of like, say we would do a T-bar, a section off like this, and we would do like a half head, we would do a balayage, a section off like that. If you've got like your kind of go-to kind of how you go about things, it makes life a heck of a lot easier. Do 1 or 2, we'll do 2. So what I'm going to do is just take a triangle section out the top here. So if ever want anything with volume, I take a triangle at the top. If I want to have like a total smoothness over the back, I take a triangle at the top. So you think about it logically, the head, albeit isn't a triangle, but it's wide and then goes down to a point at the bottom. So if you just work on that section, then it makes it a lot easier to have it smoother at the back. And 2 seconds, put that out the road. Now what we're going to do is put 2 ponytails down here, so we're going to introduce some padding in here in a second. So to put the ponytails in, you just need a clip grip in either side of your lips. What we'll do is really sleek and then really kind of full kind of chignon bun type thing at the back. So just get one, find out where I put the other one. Thankfully it's right behind me. So this is like so often, that as a product yourself, Sam, I'm a member of like lots of the hairdressing groups, but I don't comment on a heck of a lot of them, because quite frankly, most times I can't log in and argue with someone, so I just observe from the sidelines. Yeah. I realised a long time ago that happy people don't argue on Facebook. So if I feel like I'm going to, I reassess my situation and find out why I'm not happy. But a lot of the Facebook groups just now, there's like so much, and yeah, I totally understand times are hard and harder just now, but like a lot of Facebook groups are talking about like there's like a big push just now on what your sideline is. So I'm like, why don't you just like you've got clients, like why don't you just do more with your clients that you're currently doing, or offer more in your salon? I know it might not be simple as that, but the two easiest ways to grow in business is to either expand and gain new clients or customers, or even easier is to expand what you're doing with your current customers. So, and being able to put curvies in someone's hair isn't like, it's not rocket science, really, is it? So that you could retrain and do this and be able to expand your business even more.
Work on what it is that you love. I was listening to something
Yeah.
on Gaia last night in my bed, and what he said was, it's Jack, I can't remember his second name is, if somebody asks you something and it's like when you say, if you don't say yes straight away, it's an absolute no.
Oh, I've listened to that. I don't know who it is.
Did you?
Was it
the guy that
maybe on a diary of a CEO that was getting interviewed?
The guy that wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that.
And I think you're right, though, if you focus on what it is that you love, and you need to have that passion. And it's great watching you, Heather, because even when we were at the ergo training and stuff as well, and I said that to you, it was like, you're really inspiring, and it's enjoyable to watch. And after 30 odd years, it's not easy to stay as motivated as that.
But and I know this sounds really cheesy, like I am completely and utterly fascinated by hairdressing. Like it's my hobby as well as what I do for work, which I'm very, very lucky that that's what it is. Like, one, I don't think I'd be employable as a real job anyway. Like, I get sacked for talking too much, or being like, I was that kid that got their own seat at the front desk in maths class, so that I didn't disrupt the rest of the class. In my defence, I was really good at maths. I just used to do it and get bored, to be honest, and then go and ask people what they were doing and send notes to people. So I don't think I'd be very good in an office environment by any means. I would get told to fill in forms, and I'd just be like sitting doodling and drawing things instead. But I'm so lucky that I love what I do and I do what I love. But it truly fascinates me. So I do a lot of work with an amazing company called Ambition Centre Scotland, which is like an external verifier, so like a private external verifier that wins to salons in Scotland that don't want to send their kids to college but want to do in-house training with their junior stylists. So they created an app for their learners. So again, like learning support. So it's not to overtake or go against what their salons tell them to do. But again, it's like education support, and I've filmed all the content for them. So I was filming off about like 3 or 4 years now. So I had to film everything for level 2 and level 3. And by God, if you ever want to rethink what you're doing in hairdressing, make yourself do a level, like do everything at a level 2 and level 3, right down to like your 90-degree haircut. Like it was frustrating, even as like a seasoned hairdresser, it was frustrating to do. Like I phoned one of my hairdresser friends at one point, I'm like, this is ridiculous, why are you even making us do this? It's like, you sound like you're 16. And then I was doing it, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, a 90-degree haircut's like a game of Sudoku for hairdressers, everything's got to all add up. So makes sense. So anyway, I digress. One of the things I've been working on the whole last year, which I've just been loving, is I've been working with this amazing afro and wavy and curly hair trainer called Mavis, and she's got a lot to do with what's going on with I'm sorry if anyone's on from colleges because I really get mixed up with all the SQVs and SBQs, whatever they're called. But basically for the curriculum for hairdressers, because it's coming into effect pretty soon, that all hairdressers will need to be, for want of a better word, fluent in all hairdressing, which is quite right. Whereas perhaps, Samantha, dare I say, when you and I learned hairdressing, we learned straight hairdressing, and that was about the extent of it.
Yeah.
And whatever else we have learned off our own back, or from working with other stylists, or getting, like you said, like going and training the beds ourselves. But it's going to come into effect that because apart from anything, it's offensive if someone comes in with curly hair and you say, we don't do your type of hair. Do you know what I mean? So basically everything's changing. So we've been filming behind the scenes, basically the A to Z of how to work with curly hair. So right down to like the language we use when we're speaking, and how to shampoo curly hair definitely, which was like a totally eye-opener to me. Because I was like, I'll just shampoo, not what you use, but like hand on heart, as long as I'm with curly hair, I just shampoo the same way I shampoo straight hair.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Very different yourself. And then looking at like styling, and then we done like braiding and threading. And it was just, every single day I worked with, I was like, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this, because also we're doing the education together. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm like, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing hairdressing, like, all you just pick up your phone and you'll find something that you've not seen before, and that's what really, really excites me. It's like, how can you get tired doing a job that you'll never, ever, ever, as long as you live, as much as you've trained, be able to know everything? Do you know what I mean? I just think that's amazing.
Yeah. And as you were saying as well, people talking about side hustles and stuff, you can add that extra bit. And so if you don't do curly hair, like, why not train in it and offer it? Because a lot of people are having to travel to Manchester, or, you know, because they can't find somebody that can do Afro-Caribbean hair, or they can't do curly hair properly.
The lady I was working with, Mavis, she says to me that she has people travel from all over Scotland and beyond to come to her, to the point where she can't fit people in. And then likewise, there's people out with areas, and I get it, it's not maybe as popular as what your current clients are. But if you just sit doing your current clients, let's face it for a fact, at least 10% of them will just naturally go anyway. So you get people saying, well, there's no point in training that because no one asked me for it. And like, well, no one asked for pizza at the Chinese takeaway either. Do you know what I mean? But if they'd done pizza, they'd probably get it.
Yeah.
So I just find it fascinating. It's like, I'll quite often, again, being in the wedding industry, obviously get really good friends that are makeup artists, and they're like, do you not fancy being a makeup artist? I was like, no. And I've nothing against, I love makeup artists. I have nothing against makeup artists. And I was like, well, the only way to be amazing at something is to invest at least 1,000 hours. And I'd rather be 1,000 hours even better a hairdresser than, do you know what I mean, like 1,000 hours or a makeup artist. But yeah. I just want to keep learning as much about hairdressing as I can. And you've only got so much time in the day, and you've only got so much time in the planet. So if I waste my time learning another, it's only my opinion, I'm not saying I'm right, but if I, in my eyes, waste my valuable time that I want to spend on hairdressing, devoting a tenth of it, a quarter, or half of it to try and learn something completely different, albeit within the same circle, then that's like 10%, 20%, or 50% hairdresser that I'm not going to be as good at. So that's the way I see it. Maybe a very kind of closed down attitude, I don't know. But that's how I see it. If you want to be a makeup artist and a hairdresser, then that's completely different. But and then another thing is, it scares the bejesus out of me, because I never ever want to be in a situation where I'm at a wedding and something goes wrong and the makeup artist doesn't show up, and someone goes, oh, it's okay because Heather's done makeup training. I'm like,
no, not
so
for me.
I'm going to do just now, I've got this very cute little hairstyle going on just now. So I've got 2 ponytails. I brought the sides back and just secured them with the mini elastics. I've still got this little bit underneath here. And what I'm going to do is, because of some of Patrick Cameron's, Hiccup's padding, I'm going to use this here and just roll it up. So I can literally just put the hair here, wrap it around, and then just roll this in and just spread it over. So see, I'm just coaxing the hair over on either side, and then just tuck this in, and then I can just do the same on this side. Sorry, Logan's desperate to go again. So it helps cover up that bun. And then, excuse me, I'll just pull these over. We're just doing it this way. I'm just going to tack this in place. So already I've got the base of my bun and it's covered. Just going to put this in place. And then we've got two ponytails we'll bring over the top and that'll be us done. Not been too bad. I'm only about half an hour over now. I'm just enjoying myself, sorry. It's the funny thing about going live, isn't it? It's like so much time to set it up, and you kind of, as if anyone might say that don't feel a bit nervous before they go live. Now you go on, you're like, wee! You're like, right, come on, go off. Best to go.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Jenny's asking where you got your buns from.
Patrick Cameron. I don't know if he still does them on his website. I've had his ones for ages. I know he was stopping to do a lot of, he was going to stop doing a lot of his accessories.
Yeah.
I think I'm right. You can probably still get them on there. But they are great. And likewise, like I do adore Patrick. And I'm like, do you know what? He's been doing this for like about 30 years longer than I have, and this is what he's found the best to use. So who am I to try and find others?
Something better. I know, Pat. He's amazing. He's another one that's just so fully energy and bounce.
Yeah, exactly. Right, a little bit of oil. I'm just going to take it through these ponytails. And then what you can do, you do anything you want here, but I'm just for quickness going to do rope braids. So to do a rope braid, all you do is split the hair in two. We twist it both in the same direction. And then you're just going to wrap them around each other. And put a ball in it. So this is like I was saying before, like you've got all these like go-to techniques the same way you've got, do you know what I mean, your weaves, your slices, your backcomb weaves, your zigzag highlights, and you know where and when to use them, then you don't really need to think about it too much. It just becomes like a little jigsaw, and however you put it together is how you personalise it. Same way we do with colour, the same way you do with haircut. So again, I'll let you in a little secret. Most people at weddings have the same thing anyway. So it's kind of like when you see someone for like doing like a colour demonstration, isn't it? And you all sit and watch, and you're like, oh, I wish my clients were like that. And it's like the likelihood is the majority of their clients aren't like that. It's just like they get a good few of those clients, and that's what they love doing. So again, twist in opposite direction. That's what most, I know, certainly I do as well. My bread and butter is still tinted roots and refreshing ends and keep our highlights. It's lovely when I get someone wanting something a bit different, but it's you don't get that every single day. It's the same for any aspect of hairdressing, I think. Unless you're lucky enough to be in a very, very niche salon that's what they do and that's what they're renowned for. But even that, I remember like Sophia Hilton talking about she got throughout her life one day because she got a phone call to the salon, and it was from a customer who wanted to come to not another salon, but she only got natural hair, and she was like wondering if there's any way she'd make an exception and maybe just do like a normal balayage for her. And she's like, whoa, she's like, we're getting to the point where we're not getting regular customers because all they're seeing is all the vivids. And that's why a lot of times now when you look on their Instagram, you see a mixture of naturalised hair and vivid hair.
Yeah, I can remember Sophia talking about that actually, because it was massive in vivids, and that people that were having the, as you say, like the roots, the comb throughs, the balayage, they didn't think that they did that anymore. Yeah,
I dare say, like, this, like, you know, it's like yourself. It's fantastic to do stuff that's really, really different, but it's tiresome too.
Yeah,
it's like, I dare say, staff are getting tired out doing that all day, every day as well. So I've just put a grip into the end of that little wobble, and just placing these round, and I'm just going to pull them over and place them, which makes my life so much easier. So again, take that end. How easy is this? Like having all that hair. Just going to make something absolutely beautiful in it. And I can just bring this round, and we can tuck that tail in there the same way we tuck the other tail in the bottom. So just curving it round, and you can just mess about with it. I just really let Mr. Logan out and hope he doesn't bark. So I'm taking this down in the kitchen. There you go, pal. And we'll finish this off, and that's us.
There you go. That's looking great as well. What about consultation, Heather? Is that the major part of it?
Major. Yeah, so much. Yeah. Instead, I found out the hard way this week that even with the most thorough consultation, and even with someone sitting nodding and agreeing with you, the lights can be on, but nobody's home. So it's, I don't have things in writing because let's face it, life's too short. I do have a 5-page PDF that I send out to all my clients before they come for a trial, just about managing expectations. But you know what it's like. I mean, people are excited. They're not going to waste time reading things. But kind of like the same way some people advise in a colour correction to have like a kind of checklist that you go through with your clients. You could do that as well.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's the thing I worked with Ben today was just really like for people. To be honest, it's not up on my site yet, but if you go on my Instagram, you'll be able to see it. Basically just devised a forum that like is hopefully just going to, dare say, attract the right client to me and weed out the ones that are maybe time wasters for like weddings and things like
that. That's Janie gone because California's calling.
Oh, that's all right. So look at what that looked like a minute ago, which is just like a big massive bun with 2 things on the end of it. And look what you've got now. We're just pinning this in using large pins. You can secure that even more if you wanted to. Also tuck this little tail into.
Heather, Dom's asking if you could take some pictures of your finished looks and put them
Dom's
into...
asking if you can bugger off. Dom's asking to get alive. No, it's here. Of course I will, Dom. Thank you. There we go. I think we'll call it a day there. Sorry, I was just enjoying it.
Absolutely stunning.
Okay, you can just, I'll put some stuff in it afterwards, but look, you just get that really kind of like Vogue couture type bun coming from that. And although she had loads of hair, it definitely does just help take it to the next level. She says, well, put one more grip in it. That's another important thing as well, is whether it's styling or whether it's hair up, it's just obviously look 360 around your client.
Yeah.
And just ensure you get everything how you want it. So there you go, my 2 dollies.
Amazing, Heather.
Sam, thanks so much for your time. Sorry for keeping you back.
No, thanks for your time. I've loved it. I used to do long hair ages ago, but I'm going to get back into it.
Get into it.
Get into it.
So you get 7 days free membership. It's on my website, and then it's got over 50 tutorials, even blow dries and everything. Plumbing. Straight.
Brilliant.
So
there you go. What about your Instagram and stuff like that, Heather? What is it that anybody can...
Instagram is heatherrobertson.hair. There is a bridal one with much less on it, which is HRH Bridal, but the link's on heatherrobertson.hair. And everything's on there in my Linktree. So it is.
Brilliant. Right, well, that's been amazing. I'm sure you'll all agree with that. Any questions that you've got for... I've kind of been going through the questions and asking them anyway, Heather, so there's none left at the bottom there. But if anybody wants to ask you anything, they can just pop your wee message and...
feel free to message me on Instagram, although my Instagram's still knackered at the moment, so I will take a little
That's
bit
a nightmare.
I can only get onto Instagram on a smashed up iPhone 7.
Right, well, thank you so much. Yeah.
See you later. Right, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.
See you later. I'll leave it to you, Dom, just to log us off.